This is what optimism in action looks like. All right, let's get down to nitty-gritty example. This is one of my kids. His name is Carson. When Carson was 6 years old, he comes to me, he looks up at me, he's a little tiny guy, he looks up at me, he goes, "Daddy, I want to play ice hockey." I say, "Son, you're out of luck. We live in North Carolina. Well, really hot here, there's not a lot of ice." You know what he says? This is optimism in action. He looks up at me, he goes, "Let's move to Michigan." That's how optimists think. I said, "No, we're not moving to Michigan." I figured he'd forget all about it. This kid couldn't remember his last name, so I don't, hockey, I was playing. And he'd never been on ice skates. He'd never even seen a hockey game. He just watched these movies about kids playing hockey, so he gets it in his head. Well, he didn't forget. He'd come to me every couple days, every couple weeks, "Daddy, hockey, Daddy, hockey." So I started looking around. There was no hockey. Finally found roller hockey. "Hey, son, good luck. Good news. What? I found roller hockey. What's that?" "Well, it's just like ice hockey, but..." You know what he said? "No, I want to play ice hockey." Okay. A third of his life goes by. Passion plus perseverance, grit. He didn't give up his dream of playing hockey. They finally started a youth ice hockey program where we live. I said, "Son, do you still want to play?" He said, "Yes." I went to buy the equipment and realized I made a very big mistake. I knew nothing about hockey. It's very expensive. Long story short, we go to his first practice. I know it's going to be a disaster. So being the upfront stand-up dad I knew he was going to fall down on that ice. He'd never been on ice skates. And all the kids were going to laugh, so I went and hid. I said, "This is going to be a disaster." They're going to, and then the little voice. We all get the little voice, right? The little voice, back of your head, starts beating you up. My little voice is going to town on me. "What kind of dad are you?" But I don't hear anybody laughing, so I get up, and there's my kid. He's skating down the ice. Then the coach blows the whistle, "Time for drills." And I'm like, "Oh, God, my kid, he knows nothing about hockey drills. He's never been on the ice before." And then I peek. Well, kid in front of him hits a puck and skates away. My kid gets in line, hits a puck and skates away. So then I'm walking out, and some guy says, "You got a boy out there?" And now I'm like, "Oh, yeah. Yep, I got a boy. Yeah, he's a hockey player. Sure is." How long has my kid been playing hockey? 5 minutes. You know what he became? A hockey player. That's what optimistic people do. You want to be optimistic, and yes, you can train yourself to be more optimistic, to think that way, because optimistic people, they overcome the barriers, and they produce results.